see here. Which one is it?
ARC Power. It's that ARP.
It's not looking like it.
Okay, I can send you the account ID, and if you can just request an MPA today, that way you have it when we go to add more assets.
Gotcha. Because I said I have the regular ARC one, just not.
Yeah. Did you get an email? Did you get the email from Elise saying it was created with the account ID? I thought she sent it to us, but maybe not. Maybe it was just me. I'll send it to you anyway, so you have it.
Okay.
All right. Right, so create, since we don't really have anything to go from, so we're just going to create from scratch. And like I said, our goal is reach, which falls under the awareness. But brand awareness is where they pound you. We'll keep it up. It's mostly always auction. If you are wanting to lock in a certain CPM, that's when we do reach and frequency, but 90% of the time we use auction.
Okay.
And you'll know when that is. Like Kelsey or the planner, they'll say hey, we need to do a reach and frequency. We need to lock in this CPM. And so that's your cue. And then we'll name our campaign. So we're just going to do, I'm going to say, May or June. It's got a -1 at the end because it's reach. That works for me.
So the dash is at the end. So are you always going to put -1 when it's reach? Is there an actual nomenclature to everything, or is that just?
Yes. So that's what's part of that nomenclature in the Prisma thing that will not let us copy from. So, I don't want that. Stop it. Stop it. So over here you'll see objective. Mm-hmm. So awareness is 1, consideration, which is traffic, is 2, purchase, which is 3, so that's more DTC, and then advocacy is 4, which we typically don't use. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this template, it would say -1 because it's awareness.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I just know that from seeing it a bunch of times. But yes, that will change based on how your Prisma name is laid out.
Gotcha.
All right. So we don't have any special categories or an auction. We're doing reach. A/B test is something that you can set up if you want to run a test to see which asset performs better than the other or which copy performs better than the other. They've actually redid this a couple months ago, where it says right here. It actually takes you to a page within Ads Manager called Experiments. So just kind of ignore this here. Anytime you get in here, ignore that. I just wanted to point that out. And so under here is campaign budget optimization. What this just means is that it's going to spend these total amount of dollars you tell it to across all of these ad sets. So we're going to turn it on. And we're going to say our campaign lifetime budget. What is it for awareness? 72,000. Any more than this. It's always lowest cost. So that's basically the first piece of it, is your campaign high level details. Then we go into new ad set. This is where I put the targeting information. So where she has 18 to 34, A1834, I usually put that in here just to kind of help remind me who we're targeting. Mm-hmm. And then for these, she has them broken out. What I'm going to do for this one, just because I know what's happening in the other account, these are all very similar. Mm-hmm. Their rates right now, there's really not one popping. So for efficiency's sake, I'm just going to combine all of these.
Gotcha.
So we're going to make 2 ad sets in this campaign. One for interests and one that's a lookalike that we have running.
Gotcha.
So we'll use both of this. We'll have 2 different ad sets, which is fine. Once you start getting into 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ad sets, that's when the algorithm goes bonkers, and it can really drive up costs because of the complexity. Because you're basically telling the algorithm, we have this much to spend, but we want you to spend it across all these ad sets, these different targets, these different creatives, and it just gets so complicated for it to even find a person, so it charges you more.
Gotcha.
So, and sometimes that's not always the case, but that would be Facebook's guidance to say, like, if your goal is efficiency, let's make sure we keep it as easy as possible, essentially. And sometimes it's okay. Like, if you're learning, if you want to learn stuff, or you have the retailer breakouts or whatever, like, sometimes you have to do it, and we know costs may go up a little bit, but that's okay. But if you really don't have to, then I would say as little ad sets as possible for complexity's sake. So that's my guidance there. So we're going to do plus interest. Our Facebook page is actually going to be ARC, which I wonder, it's called teeth whitening. This is a power brush. Okay, we're just gonna leave it at that for now. I'm assuming that that's okay. Start date, we're just gonna make this 5 p.m. to give us some time to work through this.
Yep.
And also we need tags, so we probably won't launch this until tomorrow, but I can keep this paused. I'll show you how to pause it.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't actually go live. And then we are running this through June. So for just a little watch out. So there are learnings, corporate learnings, that tell us that the end of the week of each month is the most expensive for purchasing media on Facebook.
Gotcha.
And so they've wanted us to test this out and prove this out, but we've had so many things going on with our campaigns, whether it was testing or whatever, that like we couldn't modify our campaigns. We couldn't exactly pull it off this year. But they are seeing a trend that the last week of the month is so expensive because everyone's trying to cram in their budgets at the end of the month.
Gotcha.
Facebook knows that. So because Media Tools authorizations end June 27th, and we're going to be getting our campaigns up and live July 1st, I've actually been ending my Facebook coupons, or my Facebook campaigns on June 27th. If we decide we want them to run through the 30th, then I'll extend them, but in my mind, it's not worth the extra cost to keep us live those last few days.
Yeah.
Especially since July 1 is right around the corner. So I'll speak more to that as we get closer to the broader team. But for me, that's what I've been doing so far, just to kind of help us get more for our dollars, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. And then I always end them at 11:59 p.m. I don't know why. I just like that time. This one we're cutting it off. So that's what I do. If you ever need to put certain dollars to each ad set, like let's say we have retailer splits, and we'll go through this in the traffic campaign, but if you have retailer splits, let's say this is like, we're targeting these people, but it's a Target campaign, and we can only spend so much at Target. This is where you would break out that limit. You would say, I want this much money to spend on this ad set.
Gotcha.
But when you put all the ad sets together, we don't want to spend more than that lifetime budget we have at the beginning. Does that make sense? Okay, that's where you would do that. So here we're going to build out our audience, and over here it shows you, based on the different variables you select, this will actually update in real time. So if I go, so what we say, 18 to 34, is that what she said? We are going to select that.
So it actually lets you be
down to 100 million people.
It actually lets you be super specific with age. Does it report back, like when you look at like a demographic report and stuff, does it report back that specific, or does it break it into?
It'll break it out into groupings, demos, different demo groupings. You can't see it by age. 18, 19, 20, 20, but it'll show you 18 to 25, 26 to 34, or whatever.
Gotcha.
And this is also how we tag things too. So when we issue our tags to Nielsen, we'll say it's all genders 18 to 34, and that's what they're going to track.
Gotcha.
On their end for impressions. So yes, that is how everything kind of lines up. Languages, we want English. I always just pick US because I feel like that's who we're really targeting. Before I go into detailed targeting, like I picked English, so that weeded out 5 million people. Because we're not doing automatic placement, we're only doing Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and update this so it's just Instagram. And look, that weeded out another 20 million people because of the placements.
Is there eventually going to go back to Facebook, or is it always, are we pretty much sticking back with just Instagram?
I've heard no news, so I think it's just, continue as we are until we hear otherwise.
Gotcha.
The hope would, yes, we get back on it, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, unfortunately.
Gotcha.
They just added a new placement here for Instagram TV for in-stream placement, which means basically if you're watching Instagram TV videos, before you switch to another video, you're going to see your ad. So
Gotcha.
we're not doing that placement right now. I don't think it's necessarily approved from NAM yet. And it does cost a lot more to do that. So we actually don't do that, but it will automatically highlight that for you because it's Instagram.
Gotcha.
So always make sure for Instagram you only have feed, Instagram Explorer, and Instagram Stories. Explorer is an area, if you open up your Instagram and you hit search, it's going to be within that feed.
Gotcha.
So that's where it kind of shows up. Not a ton of impressions get served there, but opening up as many placements as you can will only help the algorithm to be more efficient.
Gotcha.
So, and then for awareness reach campaigns, we always like to do a cap, a frequency cap, just to make sure we don't bombard people a million times. And we always use a 2x7. So we want to serve people 2 times each week. That's it.
Gotcha.
You don't want to serve them 10 times. And if you only serve once, very limiting.
Does it do it by placement, or is that by overall from this campaign?
Overall.
Okay.
They could see it once on Instagram Stories. They could also see it once on Instagram Feed, and that's it.
Gotcha.
They could see it twice on Instagram Feed, whatever. Depends where the person is at the time. So we don't change anything else. That's just all we do there. So that's our ad set. So for interest, this is where it's going to get fun because we're going to have to plop in all those interests. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up the ARC Lightning account. So let's see, I gotta do that. I'm gonna do that. Just gonna do it this way. Okay. So this is our current ARC Whitening campaign. Do you see how it's broken out into those interests you mentioned? Well, if you look at lifetime and then performance and clicks, you'll see that the lookalike is slightly higher than the rest, and the rest are all the same percentage. So really none of these, there's no benefit into breaking those out. They're very similar in terms of performance.
Gotcha.
Even the, I know the CPMs are a little wonky here too. So yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a range there. So it would be to our benefit to combine these if we're not seeing much of a difference here.
Gotcha.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just copy and paste. And some of these, because Facebook Ads Manager changes so much, we may not be able to get all of them. It may say that one's not available anymore because they're constantly updating what interests we can target and which ones we can't. Historical interests. So we're going to say people who match. I had to exclude, so there wasn't like a million overlap folks involved here. Right. And then do all interests. Much easier than retyping all of this in. Did I not recognize those? Oh, it did. Okay, good. There it goes. All right, so after we add in all of our interests, select our language, our demo, our placement, this is our potential reach. So that's a really good size. And it's showing us like, hey, you're in the zone. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the red, then that's not good.
Gotcha.
Because like it gives it no chance to serve your ads and it's going to be super expensive. If it's broad, that's fine if you want everyone in the world to see it, but you're probably just wasting dollars at that point. So to be in the green is where we want to be. Okay, so this is where we're going to build our ad. So let's go back to our campaign receipt. Oh wait, we have whitening. Okay, I'll build that one in a second. Let's do an ad so we can just copy our ad set. Okay, for awareness, this is one of our ads. Look at what it looks like, so we know what to look for. Truthfully, Charlie. Looks like we posted yesterday. She tagged us, so okay. Let's see. Let's call it this. Hey, Charlie. And because it's an ad we're boosting, we're going to say use existing post, select post, go to branded content because that's where the influencers tag us in their posts. And see if we can find this person. There she is. So this is all bold, which is good because it means that we've kind of done the handshake. She tagged us. She's connected to our account, which Kelsey had requested on behalf of us. Thank you, Kelsey. So we'll just use that, select her. Knew this was gonna happen. Okay, so update. There's a bug right now within Facebook when you go to boost an influencer ad. So this is impacting, Brittany said, over 80 accounts right now. It's like high priority. They're trying to resolve it. Basically, this is the error that you get every time you want to boost an influencer post. So unfortunately, we can't see her post right now, and we're going to have to wait until they resolve that. But what we can do is just go ahead and finish building out this piece. So we want shop now. Kelsey gave us the URL to use. So we're going to, looks like pink PDP. So I'm going to click there, and I'm going to copy and paste that URL. Isn't that beautiful? All right. We'll use that URL. We're not going to do any pixels because it's on the target site. We can't pixel that, so there's no use in doing parameters or pixels or anything like that. But that's where you would select. Looks like I do need to get the ARC website page connected to here, so I can work on that. And so we're going to, after we're finished building this out, we are going to request tags, and this is where you would put the tags.
Okay.
So that's that one, and then there was another ad. So we'll have to go back in here probably tomorrow or whenever they have that resolved to finish building this out. But I mean, it's pretty straightforward. These shouldn't be too difficult as long as everyone is connected. I'm going to just copy this one over, and what's the other one that we need to? E and K. This chick. Okay. Right. See if we can find. There she is. error. Let's make sure that her PDP is the same. Pink PDP, so perfect. We don't have to change that. And then again, we don't have to do anything else there. So this is that one. Or do you have a 230?
No.
Okay. We'll finish building this out and hopefully you can nail down traffic pretty quickly since we've been through one already. All right, so because we have the lookalike we want to leverage, we're going to build another ad set. And so the easiest way, in my opinion, to do that is just copy over this ad set we've already done. I'm just going to hit duplicate, existing campaign. Yay! So this is, I'm just going to say whitening, affinity, lookalike. So this is our page. These are the dates, still correct. We are going to get rid of these interests. Because we are going to use a custom audience. Still 1834, United States. All right, so custom audiences. Oh, shoot. They're not loaded in here. I'm sorry. Okay, bear with me because it is a new account, so I don't automatically have everything at my disposal. I have to like connect it off. So this is good for you because you can at least see how to do it. So in audiences, in our other account, for ARC Whitening, there should be audiences in here, and I should be able to share it to the other account. So we will go ahead and do that. I can. So basically, there's a list of people who are interested in whitening. And so because this is a reach campaign, I'm going to pick the biggest lookalike, which is about 22 million people that we're going to target. So let me see if it'll let me share it. Share! And then I'm going to pick the account I want it to go to. So Arc Power Rush. Sure. All right, we'll see if that worked. Okay. So I'm going to go back to our ad. So now, when I click on custom audiences, it should be there. Yay! It worked. Okay. So, because of our limiting factors here, English 18 to 34 and Instagram placement only, our total size of reach is 6.4, which is still a good audience, right?
Yep.
However, we want to make sure we are not pounding this audience who also may fall into this audience, right? Because if they're in whitening, chances are they're going to fall into one or two of these interests as well. So I want to exclude that whitening audience from this ad set, so we're not duplicating the targeting efforts here. So that's where you can go to custom audiences, exclude. We're going to exclude this. Okay? And now our potential reach is down to 59, which makes sense, right? Because the whitening lookalike is like 6 million. So, perfect. So that's basically all we needed to do there. Everything else is looking good. That's set up. Manual placement looks good. 2x7. And then obviously these we can't publish because there's those errors. We can publish is the full campaign and the ad sets. And what that's going to do is it's going to give us our ad IDs to request the tags.
Gotcha. So you have to do this before you can request tags.
Correct. So I'm going to hit publish, and it's going to tell me, you can't publish these ads. Okay, fine. Did it pull? I don't know why that doesn't show up to me, but okay. All right, so we're going to hit publish. Yeah, says these aren't published. I don't know why the other one is acting weird, but whatever. I'm gonna just pause this to be safe. I don't want anything to go live right now anyways.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna just keep the whole thing paused. And to view the ad ID, so you'll need the campaign ID and the ad set ID. And to get those IDs, you hit view setup, and there they are. There's the campaign ID. If you click into the campaign, you'll see your ad sets, and there's your ad set IDs.
Okay.
If you need your ad IDs for anything, let's say like an ad is stuck in a review, or you need to have Brittany look at it or whatever, she'll go, what's your ad ID? Click on whatever ad set it's in, and you'll have the ad IDs right here. There are 3 different types. Okay, so now we want to request tags just to get that process moving, because it does take a day or 2 to get them. So I actually have a folder, and I'll copy you on this so you will have the template. I just have a folder for it that I just go to. Okay. What I generally do is I take one of my previous requests and just pick that up and use it as my template, because it has all of the account information in it, brandings, etc. All I have to do is swap out IDs and dates, essentially. So instead of like building it out from scratch, I always start with the same brand, if I can. So this is our ARC whitening account, but we're just going to use this to build the new Power version. It's very simple. It's really stupid actually, but I'm going to save this as ARC Power request. I'm going to say ARC Power. I'm going to say 42821. I'm going to say reach. So, you know, which one is traffic, which one is reach. And we do have 2 ad sets, so I only need 2 different rows. So I'm going to delete those. You don't have to fill in all of these columns. There's only select ones that we need. I'm going to just make this ARC Power. You can tell us, but here's the demo, right? We want it to be 18 to 34. Our start date is, we'll just say it's today. We'll just say it's the end of June, US, and it's Instagram only. We do need to put our ad account names in here. So, dang it. Am I going too fast? You let me know.
No, it's good.
It's just easier for me to copy and paste this way. So here's our name. So this you won't have to do again, because it'll already be in here once you save it. So that's why I just pick it up. It's the same brand. So creating a brand new one. Okay. You don't have to do ad and ad name. We only have tags by ad sets and campaign IDs.
Yes.
So here's where we're going to fill in I'm beyond frustrated with you. So, like I said, we need to hit view setup. This is our campaign name, so I'm going to copy and paste this on both lines. It's the same campaign. And then our campaign ID. And then we're going to do our ad sets. There's talk of us having to do this ourselves, like actually requesting the tag in the system where Nielsen does. Eventually, But I don't know if that's true or if that's coming.
Gotcha.
And then we'll put the ad IDs in there. So tedious. It's crazy, especially if you have a lot of these. Like around the holidays, I go cross-eyed. So we've got our campaign name, our Facebook, or our campaign ID. We've got our 2 ad sets and the ad set IDs. You don't have to worry about ad. Don't worry about that. Our ad account name, our brand, the demo, start, end, country. So when they actually give this back to us, the tag will be in this column.
Gotcha.
It's just a string of letters and numbers like a website. And you just copy and paste that where I showed you view tags underneath it, the creative and ads manager.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to save this. And we have 2 contacts. I'm sure you've been on these before that we use. I'm just going to pick up an email I sent recently. So it's Lance and Tyler that actually work them for us. John's on here from a CMK perspective, but he doesn't really do anything with them. I'm going to copy you so you're on the chain. Basically, the subject has to read this way. You just swap out the brand and the platform. So I'm going to say Arc Power Brush, and it's Instagram. Let's see attached for our Arc Power Brush Beach campaign. And I attach that spreadsheet. And when he replies back, he'll resend this attached with the tag in there.
Gotcha.
And we'll just pick that up and copy it into our campaign and we're done.
Perfect.
And that's how you do that. So easy. So we're just going to hold on this one for now, right? We're waiting for them to resolve that boosting issue and then we're waiting on the tags. So
Gotcha.
there's really nothing we can do at this point for that. So that one's there. Really quick before we move on to traffic, I would go ahead and just update the budget or like capture it within the budget tracker just so you know what's happening. I'm gonna create a new one for Arc Power. And this is gonna be yours, so I'm not gonna touch it anymore after today. This is your thing. I'm passing the baton. Hopefully this works. And we'll do that. So bad. Like the formatting. Hate. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, I'm gonna make this Arc Power. This is gonna be Arc name. Because they're separate ad accounts, they're separate Prismas. Like I would just keep them separate. So we've got, okay, we've got Arc, Power, Reach, May, June. And we're going to say in progress. Media tools off though, so this is what's approved in media tools. This is what we've got in Prisma. And this is how much is in our campaign budget in the Ads Manager. Now we've got Arc, Power, traffic, 48. there's going to be much more than that on here, so we don't need all these rows. I'm going to make this a different color so it's easier to see.
So the budget you're putting in there is the budget that is in Media Tools, correct? Not the budget that you're putting into
So
Facebook
that is
to
just
account for
where
fees.
I capture it all. So it all lines up. So the amount that's in Media Tools is 120. The amount in Prisma, which is the Prisma document, right, that we made the other day, is 120. And my budget in Ads Manager is 120. Like, we need to make sure those always tie.
Gotcha.
Unless there's coupons, right? If there's coupons, then our campaign budgets might be a little different. But these two, at the end of the day, have to match.
Gotcha.
So it's something to keep it all straight, right? Like,
Mhm.
if she gives, hey, how much do we have left? I can put how much we have spent to date in here and say, okay, yeah, it looks like we have this much remaining, or whatever.
Gotcha.
My formula's in a copy. So yeah, it's just a way to keep track of everything. And if you know something's coming up, or it's in the distant future, but you don't want to forget about it, it's a good way just to kind of keep it here. Like, hey, this is planned, this is planned, this is planned. I know I'm going to have to go in there at some point and get this stuff off the ground. And it kind of holds me accountable. And so I can say, hey, Kelsey, I noticed we have a May traffic campaign for RPGs. Is that still happening? Because we need to get it live by 5/11, it looks like. Has that changed? Blah, blah, blah. Like, just a way to kind of keep you accountable
Gotcha.
to what's going on instead of looking at Prismas and Media Tools and all that, because it's just, you don't have the breakout there.
Gotcha.
So, as I am reconciling actuals in Prisma, Media Tools, all of that, it's just a really nice thing to have in front of you as you're reevaluating all of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So this is yours now. Okay. So does that make sense?
Mhm.
Everything? Okay. Now for traffic, you know what's awesome? We can literally just duplicate what we did for reach, but just select traffic and then change the budget. And then we'll obviously have to put in our asset, but like, we won't be able to boost it. So
you can literally just copy what you did and then go in and change that objective?
yep. So I hit duplicate. One copy. We're going to keep it paused still because we're going to have tags and all of that.
Gotcha.
I'm going to take this traffic. Because you know it's a copy. We're going to change it to traffic. And it tells us, hey, you're changing the objectives. Are you sure you want to do this? Yes, I'm sure. And then our budget for this is $48,000. So we're going to change that.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then I'm going to actually get out of this, so we're only looking at one campaign. There you go. And then the dates, everything should still match. Our audiences are the same, so those don't have to change. Placement's the same. Now, for traffic, you don't have to do anything down here. It is going to serve as many times as it needs to get people to click.
Gotcha.
So we actually cannot put a cap on frequency, which sucks. I know it does for me because to Facebook, I'm a clicker. So it's me the same ad a million times because it's like, hey, I know you're a clicker. You're going to click on this. We're going to just keep searching until you do it. Like, it's annoying.
Yeah.
But there's no way to cap that. So it's just something to keep in mind for traffic.
But you get Facebook is always charged on a CPM, not a CPC, right?
No, we still do CPM even though it's traffic. We pay attention to CPC as like a metric, but it's not how we are charged, I guess you could say. We just plan for higher CPMs because traffic tends to be higher.
Yep.
Right? So further down the funnel. And then this only has one ad, so I'm just going to delete the extra ad in here because we only have one ad for traffic right now. And that one is Flash Beauty. a name. You will like seriously start to humor yourself as you start to see all these different influencers, because you're like, oh my god, does everyone just think they're an influencer these days? Because that is my thought when I look at this. If it even lets us. I don't think so, but we'll see. Yeah, she's right here. Is it gonna let us? Is it gonna let us? Thinking about it. And this is that same PDP. They're gonna let us?
Oh.
Wonder if they fixed it. Did they fix it? Alright, well, that's good. So I'm actually going to just copy that over into the other ad set. I'll probably have to build it somewhat again, but yeah, it's saying, hey, we want you to pick your ad again. Sometimes it does that with influencer content. It doesn't like copy over.
Gotcha.
So we'll see if that. Alright. The other thing I'm going to keep in mind here too, because the lookalike audience is so small, it's not going to serve as much to here, even though our even though it may have a higher click-through rate. So we'll just keep an eye on these two. If we notice that the lookalike is like doing amazing in our traffic campaign, we may want to allocate more money to it.
Gotcha.
So let's say this one's coming in like 0.6% click-through rate, and this one's coming in at 0.3. Obviously, we're willing to spend a little more to get more clicks up here. And to do that, that's where we would go here and adjust our spend limits. We'll say we want to spend no less than this, no more than this, and we'll do the same thing on here to kind of split out that 42,000, but give this one a little more budget that we can find those people that are relevant. So we'll just keep an eye on it, but just something to watch out for. It'll do it for the reach campaign too. It'll probably serve less impressions just because the audience there is so much smaller. But if we see this like going crazy, we may not do much with it just because it's a reach campaign. But with traffic, we're trying to get a specific action, so it may be worth putting a little more budget behind it for traffic. So just a little caveat there. But we're going to go ahead and publish this one too. I mean, the ads look like they're working, which is great, but we don't want it to go live just yet because we're going to request those tags.
Gotcha.
As soon as we have those tags, we will go ahead and put them in here and just toggle it on so it'll run. But until we get those, I'm just going to wait. It's not like it's a do or die situation. If it's something that we had to get off the ground like now and it was an emergency, we could launch it. And then as soon as we got the tag, we could put them in there. There just might be a small discrepancy in terms of impressions served.
Gotcha.
It just depends. And of course it's taking forever, but again, we're going to want to send another spreadsheet, and they prefer that you send them separately. Like, they don't want you sending Nielsen, they don't want you sending multiple spreadsheets into one email because then they get lost.
Gotcha.
So you want to do one for each campaign. For traffic. So again, we're gonna populate those. Oh, no, I wanted that, sorry. still publishing. So it makes me wonder, like, if those ads really are working. It's hard. If you don't copy and paste this right, you end up grabbing the headings, and it's really annoying because then it. There you go. We're almost done. We're almost done. And then we already have the names, but I'm just going to pop in these IDs. Interests. And I just scroll over to make sure everything still is accurate. So it's the same account, our power, 1834, 428, 630, US, Instagram. Okay, cool. Save. And then I'm going to pull up that email I just sent and literally just plop in this and be done with it. Isn't this fun? Are you having fun?
That's very helpful, though.
Straightforward. It's just you got to take your time and read through all the details. It isn't a big attention to detail thing. If you're not used to that, it can be, if you miss one detail, that could affect a lot. So it is something you just have to be careful.
Yep.
Okay, traffic, power, everything's good there. All right. So we will just look out for those, and then once we have our tags, we'll add them in here and toggle everything and make sure the influencer content is boostable, and we'll be good to go.
Awesome.
Yay! Cool. So now that you've been through almost end to end, next time we get a campaign or something, hopefully you can try it out on your end as long as you